The parents of children who suffer with Tourette's syndrome are asking the Senedd, what about Wales? Right now, there is no provision or support for children here in Wales who suffer with Tourette's, although it affects 1 in 100 school children. Now, the condition has the same prevalence as autism and completely consumes the lives of these children and their families.
So, watch your child go from being a normal, independent 13-year-old girl to, not being able to hold a drink, or, sometimes I can't go too close to her because she doesn't mean to, but she'll knock you in the head. It's horrible, and I can't do anything to help her, and to have nobody that I can pick up the phone and say, this is happening, is this Tourette's? Because, your mind starts going. Over time, I thought, God, there's something else wrong with her. What is it? What am I supposed to do? Who the hell do I talk to? And there isn't anybody, apart from, thank God for support groups, because otherwise I don't know what I would have done. I really don't.
What are you calling upon the Senedd to do? Because you've started this petition. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, we would love to have a specialist that's available to everybody in Wales. So regardless of where you live, regardless of your age, even if it was somebody that was a traveling specialist, but to be able to have access to somebody would be brilliant. I think the very first thing that we'd need is guidelines, so a proper medical pathway, because I have people contacting me all the time who can't even get their GP to see their children or themselves. And then if they get to see a GP, the GP's making referrals and they're very often being bounced back. It really does seem to be a postcode lottery of whether you actually get seen by anybody.
Now, the Welsh Government say they are reviewing the neurodevelopment services here in Wales, but that review will continue until March of next year. Right now, there is one specialist for Tourette's here in Wales, but they only support adults with the condition.
I see myself as someone who can generally cope with tics and all the other bits that I have. So I can generally cope. But when I see children who are young, going through school and really struggling with it, it really tugs at me, and it's so upsetting. Like I would see myself as kind of like a strong person. I'm able to cope with it, but you see these little kids, 10 to however old, crying in their mum's arms, crying in their dad's arms because they physically cannot stop it, and I can really empathize there. There are times where I can stop it and I can, essentially throw it in the bin and it goes. But these kids, they don't know how that happens. They don't know why it's happening to them. They don't understand. I was that scared 16-year-old who didn't understand what was going on and didn't understand why I was having this. And there were times where I broke down in tears because I just physically was so drained from it. And that's the main thing that I want to put across, is that this is incredibly draining. And this petition is going to help so many people and so many children with these conditions. And it's going to help them to understand. It's going to help them to progress further and see that even though that they have Tourette's, even though that they have tics, they can still do whatever they want, And with that service and with that help there, and with that person that's like, no, you can do this, then that's really going to help them. And like I say, these are just children, these are scared kids that don't understand. And I've done this and had these for 6 years, 7 years now, and still to this day, I'm still scared. Like, I still don't know what's coming, and it would be nice to have a service there with someone who's, able to be like, yeah, you can do this. And yeah, I personally want to serve as an inspiration to those children. I've gone through college, I've gone through uni, and now I'm on my master's degree, and I've done that all through ticking, all through blacking out, all through these things that would bash you down and batter you down. But, you know, I want to say to people, you can come through it and you can do what you want to do. You just got to work through those little provisions, you know, and this petition will do that for them.
There are evident problems here in Wales, but to get an appointment for Tourette's syndrome across the UK, you'll be facing waiting times of around 12 to 18 months. But the condition affects around 300,000 adults and children UK-wide. Now, the charity Tourette's Action are pleading for more funding in order to get people seen quicker.